You were listening to a Pleasure podcast. For more from our Sex Podcast Collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
You know what I got the ick from the other day, everybody? Oh, hi, welcome back to the Horny Outside Podcast. I saw a meaty man with his hand hanging out the window. Like I've done this, so I'm going to make fun of something I've done. So we're all just like laughing together and you don't think I'm just a cunt. Have you ever like been feeling a song? You're just like feeling it. And you like stick your hand out and you're like you're going so fast that you can like, I've been in the passenger seat doing this, not driving. He was driving, but I've been in the passenger seat, road trip, and you get your hand out with the wind and it can like, it feels like your hand is surfing or something. Okay. Or just like been hanging your fucking hand out. I don't think I just hang my hand out. Maybe when I smoked cigarettes at 17 years old, but I don't hang my hand out of the window, okay? It's giving me a little douchey. I'll stop judging. But anyways, he had his like meaty forearm hanging out of the window. What's wrong with, oh, what a bitch, Jordan. He was in a smart car. So I just didn't like, it was too much confidence. It was, I understand you'd be like, rock it, dude. Like, I just feel like even if that was your budget, I would pick anything. And a salvage tire, I would pick anything before the smart car. It seems not smart, is what it seems like. It seems unsafe. The unsafe car. It seems like, all your muscles are not going to protect you from the 3,000-pound vehicle. That one wrong move in that little smart car, it doesn't seem, what does the horn sound like? Probably not very intimidating. Probably one of those horns. I remember when my best friend turned 16 and she got a new car. I think it was like an Aveo, a Chevy Aveo, or something. Like the horn was, the horn screamed like, I'm a bitch. Like I just, or not, and like, I'm a bitch. And like, I am one of those dogs I really need new extension. Stop licking. I'm going to roll over on my back. Just like, I submit, white flag. It was the honk of submission. It was a honk of, I'm not mad. I don't even know what I was doing. I fell on the horn. So yeah, and that man in that smart car, I was like, oh great, a smart car in front of me. And I went around, I have smart car hate, I guess. And I see them to my right and I see just beefy boy with his chain on, like he just went to Gold's Gym and left. And he's like, you can't bump in the smart car. It's a rule. See, so why would you buy one if you know that's an unspoken rule? You have to bump with your windows up. And it can't make the car vibrate. No one can know what you're doing. Also, speaking of vibrating cars, I was driving one time and there was a man recently. What does this mean? Someone help me. A doctor, an ear doctor. An ENT behind me. And it was the bass. And it wasn't someone like raving. It was like some horrific something. Okay, it was like Eileen like a Cholo vibe. Am I allowed to say that? I don't think I'm important enough to be canceled, but like, that's a song title. And that's what I'm referencing. What's happening over here? That's what I'm referencing. So my heart's in a good place. So, and I'm also trying to describe this man, stereotyping. So he was like bumping like some SPM something, okay? I think I'm digging my hole deeper. And I could see him in the rearview mirror, and I need to be careful because I keep thinking of statements to say that are like getting worse and worse and worse. In the bass, the noise, the vibration, like what was occurring was literally causing me to have a physical reaction. Like I felt like maybe my heart, I was going to have an aneurysm. Maybe I was going to explode. Maybe I was going to throw up. Maybe I was going to have to, I kept thinking like, this is what they do to prisoners of war. They trap them in a room and play music and like, they just want to crawl out of their skin. And that's what I was feeling. And I was in a car outside on the road. So I just couldn't possibly imagine what it was like inside of his vehicle. And then I wondered if I had a problem. Maybe it's my nervous system. Possibly. I have been doing SSP. Has anyone heard of Safe and Sound Protocol? If you have, hey, me too. So if you're new here or you're just an intro hater, don't worry. Here, I'll tell you what's about to happen. Listener questions, duh. And the I Saw a TikTok segment we will have first. It's very on brand. We got a Tony Robbins interview, and he said something that I was like, I love this. And so this was my hating on negative time. We won't do a TikTok where I'm hating on that. We'll be bring this to your marriage. So stay tuned for that. But before my intro lovers, we will hear about a story of my parents being dumbasses. And I'm like, oh my gosh, was I going to get trafficked? A story that I had a That's So Raven moment about. And then I wanted to tease you. I'll just tease you right now. Let's do it. In 10 days, 11 days, I will be getting a laser on my face, neck, and chest, and I will look burn victim adjacent for a while I'm healing. So I'm thinking like maybe a ski mask. Will that hurt? Maybe a big giant sunglasses bucket hat, maybe a paper mask sunglasses bucket hat. And because my face will be hidden, it's going to be giving podcast in a closet days. It's going to be giving unhinged. It's going to be giving cunt. It's going to be giving naughty, but she didn't, and we were thinking it. So I'm sure that's what will happen. I have no doubt in my mind that something wild will happen, will come out of my mouth that I'm going to regret. That needed to be said, possibly. Maybe you'll never see it. Maybe I will edit that all out and you'll go, that was horrible. That was so empty. It was never empty. It was because I had to take it away. Okay, really quick. Can you fucking believe it? If you're a parent, do you ever think about things you were allowed to do when you were little that you wouldn't let your kids do? And then think about our parents' parents. They grew up in a world where like they all would have been arrested if it was 2025 for like neglect and just like leaving your kids home alone at 3.5. You know what I mean? Something crazy. The 6-year-old's babysitting the 2-year-old, something nutty that would like never happen now, or you'd be in big fucking trouble and would be like, what's wrong with you kind of thing. I remember, love you, Mom, not cheating on you. It's okay. I forgive you. Phew, angels watching over me. And I think my dad just thought maybe, oh, we're safe. We're at the resorts in Mexico. But I'll never forget. I was laying in my bed. I was like, I remember when a man took my picture at Hudson's Age and asked me. So I was walking along the beach. They were laying out. And I'm like, I'm going to walk down the beach. And they could see me, like they could look out and see me, but they were tanning. Like they knew that I was a little chicken. They knew that I was heightened sense of awareness. They thought I was smart enough because I was smart, and that I wouldn't do something stupid. Like I wasn't going to run away or go get into trouble or look for something. And I was probably like, I'm thinking like 9 or 10, truly. And I walked down the coastline, and Derek bursted my Dateline bubble by being like, maybe they were trying to sell pictures. Like, go to your parents and say, hey, take pictures, I want them. But like, we jumped to something much darker. But because there wasn't a lot of people around. I was like walking, and I had like gone into walking further than I should have been allowed, and they probably weren't aware of. Thinking like, oh, it's safe, it's all spring breaky. I don't understand that at all. And this man was like, oh, let me take your picture, you're so pretty. And I looked like an Ethiopian boy, by the way. I was like extremely underweight, really skinny, bony, scraggly, like, and he was like, put your hand on your hip. I'm not photogenic. So, he was like, ugh. But he's like, put your hand, and he's like, lay down and put one leg up. And I'm just like, yes, sir. And like, This is why I don't teach blind authority. Like, I'm okay with that. And asking why, and like, who the fuck are you? And that kind of stuff. So he would never. Hudson is like, but I would never keep the mindset if he would never either. But even though he would never. But I'm still aware in case. he has a concussion or something. And then I like come back, he like takes these pictures of me, and I don't remember how it ended, but I just vividly remember how uncomfortable I was laying on my side. Like, if you're watching the YouTube video, you really should, because I'm about to do something awesome too. Like laying on the grass, doing these poses, and being like, what the fuck? Like in my head, just being like, huh? And then I think I was like, okay, I gotta go to my family, and like they're right there. And I like went. And maybe he thought maybe that meant they were looking at me, because if he was selling something, he didn't have anything on his neck, like nothing on his neck, and meaning like they wear signs around their neck. Sometimes they're like selling this or bracelets or family photos, but nope. We just went, and I was like, Mom, some man took pictures of me and asked me to pose in certain positions. And I remember her and my dad looking at each other and being like, oh no. That's not good. What if they try to Photoshop her head off or something? And I thought that was strange. And I was like, do something with the photos, doctor the photos. And I'm probably shouldn't have heard that conversations, but being an only child, being the eldest, guinea pig. And yeah, I was like, what if he would have taken me? What if he would have went back to the child trafficker? It was like, who do you want? Here's all the pictures I got today. They're probably like, oh, scruggly, too scrawny. So Hugh. Or he was just like a man who sold pictures, and I watched too much true crime, and now I am stereotyping and being not politically correct and rude. One of the two. But I think I might bring it up in therapy tomorrow. Just kidding. Also, have you ever seen those? This was not a part of my intro, but it came to me because I just thought about me doing my pose and said, please watch the YouTube. You would miss this if you weren't watching the YouTube. You can watch on Spotify. Did you know you can watch on Spotify, and comment on the video? Like, there's so many cool things and like benefits to listening on Spotify. So follow the show. Make sure you're following. On Apple, make sure you're subscribed. Leave a 5-star review. Leave a rating on Spotify. You can write a review on Apple Podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, keep doing it, please. Subscribe, click the little bell, comment, all the things. Follow me on social media at DHHpod. Okay, done. Have you seen that Irish choir that does this? The whole choir? Because if not, I wanted to show you. Okay, here. Okay, Jethro, we're going to enter a clip in right here. Have you ever seen anything like that? For some of you, you hated that moment. For others, it was a gift. And now you're going to get to share your friends, and you're going to laugh and experience joy together too. So that's my gift to you this Monday morning. Are we ready to do the Horny Housewife podcast now? Are we ready? Okay. It's time for I Saw a TikTok. So the TikTok was Tony Robbins on a podcast. And so his words, not mine. I'm paraphrasing. And I wish I knew the podcast that he was on. It's the host was the guy George, who used to be a part of the Logan Paul Impulsive show. And then I think gave his life to God, or maybe he was always a Christian on this show, but I think they parted ways, and he now, I think, has a faith-rooted podcast, I think. I don't know. I have no clue. But he was the host, and he had Tony Robbins on, and he said something that I was like, wow, that's really true. So we're passing along this message, but giving credit where credit is due. So he said, a lot of people subscribe to the belief, and this is so true this day, right? I'm supposed to be with someone who meets my needs. Like, my needs are supposed to be met. That's what I want. And someone who wants to meet my needs, I have them, right? And like, I get that, but like, meaning like that has to happen, okay? He said there's a few different types of people. One who's I'm getting what I want out of the relationship, or I'm out of here. And he described that as being an immature person. And then there's another person, or they view it like equality. You do your part, and I'll do my part. And a lot of people like find that as like ideal and that works, or like, look, I choose it. This is what we do. And I stay and here we are. But that can sound nice, but turns into, well, what do we see? A great team, great friends, great pals, great roomie, great parent unit, but lacking this like energetic, lacking passion, really, if that's just how it is. And he said the third person, this is the winner. You thought number 2 might have been the winner. No, your needs are my needs. Your needs are my needs. And he said he described his own marriage and saying like, that's what lights him up. I'll do whatever it takes because that gets me going. That fills my cup to fill their cup. And that's beautiful and ideal. And he said you can get to that place quicker if you know what you're trying to become as a couple, and that all couples go through seasons, and some winters are longer than others, but you can essentially speed up the seasons by knowing where you're going. So that means pattern recognition, pattern utilization, and pattern creation. You know, I think I've said exactly that. Me and Tony Robbins, two great minds think alike. But as far as that's a true partner, that's a true teammate. You know, you love them so much that's how you want to show up, not begrudgingly, not obligatory, not box checking, but like that's love and a choice, right? Because sometimes you don't always feel like that. It doesn't maybe always feel like, lights me up, but who you become as a couple will feed your soul. So finally, a nice TikTok we get to talk about. Are we ready to dive into listener questions? Listener questions. Need a jingle for that. When I asked for a jingle one time, people were like legitimately wanting, like some people messaged me, and I'm going to sound so, if you did, I did see them. I just felt like no, I didn't like anyone that sent me a sample. This sounds so mean. Did anything, I hated them. No, it was like, that was not what I was thinking. Some people were like giving me like something like this or something like this, and it wasn't something like that. So I'm just like, you know what? Last time I changed the intro, like bring the other thing back. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I saved them. I filed them. So I know I have your point of contact. Just because one sample didn't like do it for me doesn't mean I don't think your work. You couldn't get there for me. Let's start listener questions. Question number 1. If you've listened to this podcast, you know. But if you're new, you don't. I moved. I started over, essentially, got rid of everything and started over. So I have been on the journey. So if anyone needs like a recommendation or referral, truly I know. And I am a do your homework kind of girl. Like I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to spend money on something. And I want to also get a good deal. I want to get a good bang for my buck. Like high end, but not the high ticket necessarily. And that is exactly what I found with Brooklyn Bedding. So mattresses, Hudson, my son, has just literally gotten the short stick on the bedding, selfishly. And I was reading think about how important our sleep is for all of us, right? And I think, I'm getting old. Like I rebuke that, but like I really need the support because like my bones are this age and they hurt if not. And I know what I need. They're great on the foam mattress bed. Well, actually, really, he's a growing boy and like he needs a good night rest just as much as the rest of us. And when I read, I felt mom guilt, felt like shit because I'm like, oh my gosh, this all goes hand in hand with how he's growing, how he feels, his bones, his muscles. It can cause problems, actually. So I had an opportunity to have Hudson a mattress from Brooklyn Bedding, and wow, me laying on it. It's like every time I go in there to scratch his back to put him to bed, like I'm dozing off. I want something medium firmish. They have options. Like you can dial in with what you're looking for there. But the quality, I was so impressed of the quality of the mattress for the price. I ended up getting the Aurora Luxe was the model I got, but they have different choices based on your preferences. And I know it's going to last. I was blown away by the quality. It looks good. It feels good. And it didn't cost a fortune. And their high quality materials are going to take you the distance. And that's what you want with a mattress. Brooklyn Bedding handcrafts every mattress in their Arizona factory. No middlemen, no gimmicks, just top tier quality, honest pricing, and real American craftsmanship for a better night's sleep. So guys, go to brooklynbedding.com and use my promo code housewife at checkout to get 30% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. That's brooklynbedding.com, promo code housewife for 30% off site-wide. Support our show and let them know we sent you after checkout. brooklynbedding.com, promo code housewife. I'm new to the podcast and going through the ones I think sound interesting. Listen to them all. Don't do that. Because sometimes I'm just like not in the title making mood and it's just harder for me. Or I'm trying to be like clickbaity and like get the title. And really there's just so much to an episode. You know, there's so many things. So I pull from like listener questions. Listen to them all. All of them. Thank you. I am a 46-year-old male. With that being said, I work out 5 days a week and I feel great. My sex drive is pretty high. I've been married since 2008. Oh, a long time. And I have 2 kids. Things have been stressful with different seasons my wife and I are going through. Too much to go into. I just listened to episode 36, How Much Sex Are Married Couples Having, and came at a good time for me. My wife and I both work. I do all the laundry, all the yard work, half of the cooking and the cleaning. Like half of cooking, half of cleaning. I go above and beyond with scheduling date nights and events. We typically have sex once a week. And most times it's a bend of the bed session. I like it, but would like more often and more quality and effort. LOL. Hope that made sense. What do you recommend I do? Thanks again. Let me know if the question makes it on the podcast because it might be a while. I'm going to respond back in this thread. I only get an IP address. I don't get, so it's not anonymous. No, it comes through like my Wix portal, but it's just numbers, like random numbers that come and you get to put the name in the email and who you want to say it's from. And it's not even a required field text field. I was like sentence dyslexic. Okay, so LOL. I want to know, have you ever asked your wife? Because if that's the routine, you just told me that's a routine, I bet you there's a great chance that she's even tired of the routine. Yeah, there's a chance that she could be like totally fine with it. And maybe she's like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, no complaints. And maybe she doesn't even know what she's missing. But maybe there's times she also fantasizes and is like, I mean, come on, everybody likes a little break from the norm. You know, I saw a TikTok, should have saved it for next week, where she was saying like going out single is so much more fun than going out when you have a boyfriend. The single narrative, they're really pushing to everyone to leave their man sad. I really do think that. The attack on women on social media, the attack on the trad wives, a little bit, but also I see some glorifying it and it's back. So I guess it depends on your algae. But she's like, you always know, like I miss the not knowing where the night would end up. I'm like, really? Like you romanticize that, but like really you saw the sun come up and then were strung out the next day and then you wanted to kill yourself 48 hours later. So was it really that good? Was it worth staying up in the penthouse till 9 a.m. doing drugs? Was it? But yeah, you never know where the night will take you. And she's like, and when you're with someone, she's obviously not married, because she's young, not because no one wants her, because she's beautiful and young. And she's like, you know where you're going to end up. You know exactly how your night's going to go. And I'm like, I beg to differ. Like, because if you can just get away from your kids for one night, you don't know where the night. Yeah, you do. You know, you'll be in bed by 10:30. Okay. Well, the older you get, that's what she needs. The older you get, the more fun that'll be. The more you're going to love knowing where you're going. It's going to sound terrifying not knowing how your night's going to end. You're going to need to know the time and the place that it's going to be ending. You're going to hold that dear and near. The point is that predictable can just get boring for lots. I think my neighbors are walking by looking like, is this the beginning of a casting couch? What's going on? Keep walking. Yeah, mix it up. This listener's like, I think you've abandoned me. No, mix it. Ask her, get some feedback. Say, are your needs being met? There's a Google prompt for this. There's a ChatGPT prompt for this. A marriage check-in. I've seen a million motherfucking reels of like, this is what we do as our check-in, to check in together to make sure we don't fucking hate each other's guts. Can't get your feelings hurt. But, compliment sandwich that shit. Tell her how much you love her and you just want to make sure and know that her needs are being met. And if there's something that she would enjoy more beforehand, or what arouses her, what gets her in the mood, how can you create a more like a safe, sexier environment for her to feel feminine and sexy and open-minded and blossom like a flower. Do you get what I'm saying? Because maybe, just maybe, it's all gravy. And so she just hasn't wanted to rock the boat. And I understand you might not feel like rocking the boat because truthfully, y'all are doing pretty good. Like statistically, if we were like lining you up, y'all would be on like we're doing pretty good. And this is married a long time, once a week. You seem like you got a good thing going, but maybe you're feeling like it's the do my part, I do my part. Check in and find out. I know maybe that's uncomfortable intimacy, but you'll never know unless you might have, even if it caused a little tiff, a little riff. Timing and delivery, my friend. Timing, and maybe it's post next time. Maybe the next time that you do it, you take initiative in making sure it's not a bend over the bed session. Maybe you do something different initiating wise. Grazing the small of her back as she's at the stove or the sink, or I'm making her sound like she's in the kitchen only. Whatever she's doing, come up behind her when she gets home from work, rub her shoulders, hang up her blazer. Say, hey, I'm going to draw you a bath. And she's like, oh, you're trying to fuck me? I mean, yes, I am. Don't say that. But maybe she won't be like that. Maybe she'll be so appreciative. But as long as, if that's not your vibe, what do you want? Now, if that is a thing where she's the type to say, you want something out of this, then you're going to have to long game it and go, nope. I want you to feel good. You deserve to feel good. And I don't show you enough how much I appreciate it. And you can't ask for it that evening. Okay? You can't. And you can't wake up and be like, now do I get it? It's going to be hard. I know it can be hard. But you got to pass the test once to show her you really were trying to be nice. And I would hope to fucking God that she'd wake you up with a blowy because she's like, oh, Ted Mendez. Okay, we have to use that name because my friend's dating a guy named that. We have to get rid of that name. Charlie Mended. So you have to do that, Charlie. Okay, I made the name Charlie up, so don't worry. It's not. His name's really not Charlie. Is it Charlie? No, it's not. So, and then the conversation. I know you want to avoid the conversation. You're going to initiate. You're going to be hotter. You're going to be aggressive, but not too aggressive. Don't listen to last week's episode. Listen to what she said. She's like, he just comes up and forcefully rubs my clit. And I'm like, ow. And then he says the grossest, I'm going to get that booty tonight. Read the room. Read the room. So if she seems overstimulated, how can you be there for her? And if you're like, wait, I asked you how we can have more sex and you're telling me this is how it works around here. This is how it works around. Women want to, what makes women horny is feeling seen, is connecting, is when we make any bid for connection, whether it's telling you about something, showing you a video that you give 1/8 of a fuck about, whatever, and you pause and pretend you care for a second. It's being thoughtful. Being thoughtful is so lovely. It's considerate. It's courteous. It makes us feel loved and thought of. So, I know you said you're like, I do this, and that's your part. So you're like, why are you adding on my to-do list? Because sometimes men think if they check those boxes that it's just enough. And really, we're craving connection and conversation and flirting and kissing and the mental, emotional buildup before that. So maybe Beducated would be lovely for y'all. This is not a sponsored reply, but if you haven't, check Beducated out, because sometimes doing that together can open up a world of questions and curiosities and do the work and the awkwardness of starting that conversation for you, and then you're just left with it. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So I could try to word salad, articulate it all day long, but trying it would be better. So that's a tip. Just re-listen to what I said. You're like, no, I'll pass. But conversation, you're going to initiate differently than you did last week next time, and take advantage of the pillow talk post nut clarity. Find out if she's getting off. Look me in the eyes. Are you coming? Are you coming? Are you getting off? So, moving on. Guys, enter the room dick first with Blue Chew. It's not just a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting. 3 things that we really want. So we know you want it because you want to give it to us. Perfection. And with my promo code Housewife, you can try Blue Chew 1 month free. Just pay $5 flat for shipping. Give her something to talk about, okay? Boost your confidence. This is going to make you a more confident, better lover. And confidence is the sexiest thing. That's like the must in the bedroom. So take that out of your head. It's like a cheat code. It's like a pep talk, a gym membership, pre-workout for your dick. So we got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use promo code HOUSEWIFE at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to bluechew.com for details and safety information. And a big thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Hi, Jordan. Love the pod. In regards to using lube, what's the perk if I don't feel the need? Question mark. I am probably slightly younger than your target demographic. 24, not married, but I am in an LTR. I feel like our sex life is fine without it, but you bring it up often enough where I'm like, am I missing something? Okay. Well, yes, slightly younger than, not my target, just like the demographic who happens to listen. But like, I'm grateful, and you're going to be like the best wife in the whole wide world. And you're not wrong. Like, I don't like, oh, you need this to have the best sex life. But I do think it can enhance in certain ways. Like, for instance, I've said this before many times, the asshole is not self-lubricating. So I personally would prefer that over spit, because longevity, I want something, Uber Lube. That's the only route I'm going to go is Uber Lube, especially with anal play, all play. And I know that I'm not going to have to reapply, and I don't have to like go wash it off. I don't know if you've ever played with lube. I remember being, especially like, at your age, like we can just use spit. Like, I guess I didn't know what I was missing. And it's almost like your skincare routine changes as you age, because you're like, oh, I didn't know how much of an impact with consistent use this did. I didn't know that I cared about this, and this, or these ingredients. Now we're doing that now. I don't know. The more information you get, you change your mind. And sometimes you can try something and go, oh my gosh, I've been living without this. So I do recommend Uber Lube. Beautiful bottle, beautiful pump, beautiful product. It's basically silicone with a splash of vitamin E. And you can use my code HOUSEWIFE and get 10% off when you check out at uberlube, uberlub.com, code HOUSEWIFE. Okay, back to the question. I get it. You're young and you're healthy and you get wet. So just because women want Uber Lube doesn't mean, oh, I'm aging and drying up. Like, they don't have to correlate whatsoever. Like I said, just can make the experience more pleasurable all around, whether you're stimulating him with it first. Spit can be sexy. We can still incorporate spit. But as far as lubrication goes and making it the most pleasurable for a longer period of time as possible. Because, if you're a waterworks woman, more power to you. But I do suggest you want to keep things beautiful, right? Beautiful and intact and together, and your skin matters. And another reason I love Uberlube so much is because it's just incredibly moisturizing to the skin. It's multi-purposeful. People use it on like their knees, their elbows, ashy skin, on the little frizzies on your hair, on scars, like to help the healing process and the aesthetic. It's multi-purposeful, okay? So hand job, blow job. I love that it's not scented. There's no flavor. It doesn't irritate me. It doesn't stain. There doesn't leave like a filmy residue. Like those are all things I value in a lube. So for a while it was off-putting, or just like, I don't even want to mess with that because like they're annoying, kind of pointless. They dry up soon. Now I got to mess with something else. So I think finding the right one is what really made it like a part of, and then also the comforts and knowing we can play in any capacity in either or, and I know that I'm not going to be like, oh, and I want to take care of the skin, I want to keep it all, dry things. Ooh, the little hairs on the back of my neck stuck. Ouch, for everybody and every part involved. So if you don't feel like you have that issue, totally great. But I still would suggest trying what I said. And then if maybe you're not an anal play girl, but if you are, I'm going to ask you as your big sister to stop using spit as your lubrication source. If it's a hot thing, bring it on. But we can also do it layered with some fire-ass lube like Uberlube, okay? Moving onward. Hi, Jay. I love the show. I listen to it at work. It makes everything better. My husband and I are a young couple, early 30s, and we have a toddler boy. He's the joy of our life. Now me and my husband are each other's college sweethearts with many ups and downs before we committed to each other. We're very sexual people. We have an amazing sex life, and lately we've been talking about adding more people into our bedroom. And in general, we want to spend more time to explore various sexual activities. My question is to you as a mom, how do we manage all the sexual energy and desires with everyday life? Oh, I forgot to say the most important part. We live in another country than our family, so we can't be dropping the kid off to his grandparents' help. Okay, well, that does definitely sound, like my ADHD. I get so ahead. That sounds like a pickle for surezies. I wanted to make a disclaimer to anyone listening that I am in a monogamous relationship, so I'm not going to have the resources for you. I have some advice for you because I've had couples in the lifestyle that have been on this podcast before that I've interviewed. So if you keep listening, with a quick Google search and TikTok and Instagram and Reddit, it's a wild place. You'll find tons and tons of information, which is a great answer to this question, is being resourceful and reading forums and input from other people. But I will give you my personal opinion on the matter because you asked me. So even though I may not be partaking in that same activity, here are my thoughts. Thanks for listening to the podcast, by the way. So I'm a mom, so I vibe with you on that part. I do have the luxury of living near my husband's parents, like 20 minutes away. So fortunately for us, with planning ahead, again, we can get away for a night, blah, 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 blah. To keep your spirits high or to keep you motivated and inspired and in it, just know your children are only little once. You get this time with them and they're I'm not trying to guilt you either, but I'm just reminding you. I know you already know. And then they go be adults And I often think that like we earn, and I'm not even there, but I'm just like, I've thought about this, meeting people in their mid 40s, early 50s who become empty nesters and just grab life by the horns. And they're just so authentically themselves. And it's like, no one is more deserving, in my opinion. Like, you raised children, you made people, and you put their needs ahead of yours in every way. And I think it's important not to like lose our identity. It's important to take care of ourselves, our mental health, to prioritize ourselves at certain times. And I think depending on how old your child is and the season of life you're in, what's going on, so many external factors will determine like how much you can give to yourself. But there should always be like, this like, it may look different at different times. But regardless of how little or how big, a moment you can cherish, whether it's 5 minutes of meditation right before bed, whether it's a hot bath before bed, that's all you can get in. Or maybe you can start working out a couple of times a week, or maybe you have book club, or maybe you Tuesday nights are for the girl, whatever it looks like, that you just like have some sort of your identity that you hold on to. And because it can be hard to lose. Some people have an easier time because maybe they only have one kid, or they co-parent, so they have lots of time by themselves because they get to flip-flop with the other parent. Lots of circumstances, but you don't want to lose yourself. But I think a lot of us parents, right, we do everything for our kids. Every decision you'll ever make for the rest of your life, or no, not the rest of your life, I just said, take advantage of this time for the next however many years, is with the people that you love the most, your family, in mind. And with that being said, that's going to be about how you base your decisions. Does that mean you kiss your sex life and you kiss your sexual desires goodbye? Of course not. This is the fucking Horny Housewife podcast. Of course not. But everything in moderation, right? Anything in excess, no matter water, for fuck's sake. Not really, but glowing skin. But you could drink yourself to death. I'll never forget in 3rd grade when our teacher, who had just got divorced, I think she was fired immediately. Not immediately, but like she taught there 1 year, she left, or was fine on us bunk. She was like, you're supposed to drink 8 glasses of water in a day. Who wants to try it today? Challenge. What was she thinking? And I know I could say his first and last name. I remember who it is. I'm not going to say his name because I think that's rude to do so. I know he doesn't listen to this podcast, but he didn't ask to be dragged into this story. He was a victim. And he's like, I'll do it, Miss Bustani. And drank water, tried to drink these however many ounces it's supposed to be. And he ended up peeing himself in the glass and threw up. And his mom had to come get him. Tragic. And if Hudson's in 3rd grade right now, if I found out that happened, I would be like, the fuck were you thinking? You're the teacher? You're water poisoning? That's a thing. Where did you get your teaching degree? So yeah, the point of that is anything in excess can be destructive, right? So I'm definitely not trying to shame or like belittle or like suppress your curiosities and desires as a couple, like whatsoever. I commend you for your connection and your combined curiosity, and that you have obviously amazing communication skills to be, to do this. I think it requires 2 very emotionally intelligent people who are insanely amazing communicators, because it's just more people are complicated. So it's complicated enough, 2 people. So adding an extra, I would be a bad sister, a bad friend, a bad listener, question answerer, to not point out the obvious that like, just like in relationships, you can expect bumps, adding another person into a relationship in any capacity. If it was like you adding in a roommate where there was like there was nothing sexual or anything about your relationship involved, you were just letting another person move in your home, that would change the dynamic. So let's add in that you're fucking the other person or like whatever it's going to be. There will be conversations to be had. You're playing with fire in a sense. You should know what you're getting yourself into. You should know why you want to do it. You should, whose idea was it? And because it had to be somebody's idea first. It had to be, and maybe if you were both equally excited, like, you were thinking that too, like, more power fucking to you. But just because you're both excited and both so down to try something together doesn't mean you should be ignorant and walk in blindly. You should gather information. You should go read and find out before you fuck around and find out. Talk to other couples who have done this before. There's the internet, again, you're going to find so much information. And I think that will give you more perspective and possibly could change the interest level of how fast you want to dive into that. You're another question where I'm going to be like, beducated. If you're bored, if y'all are really looking to level up, like please go there. DM me personally for more information if you're a new listener and you don't know, but if you love the show, you've heard me talk about it before. And as far as cut that out, of course. I'm so sick. And as far as managing it for everyday life, I think just keeping it in the forefront, pardon me, I'm sick, what your priorities are, and having gratitude. Because when we sit in the want and the lust and the longing, we'll start to ache. Like that longing will be consuming. Versus if we sit in gratitude and acceptance and appreciation, that will be more fulfilling. Like practice what that does to your body and nervous system, the appreciation and gratitude, versus sitting in the lusting and longing for, which could end your ass up in trouble, or you just don't feel good, or you're wanting and craving and trying to have something that you necessarily can't fit in right now. Maybe it wouldn't be the most healthy thing to do right now, or you, like you said, you don't have a babysitter. Please cut that out. And you're not just going to go find a random babysitter. I'm not going to let you. And that sucks, right? And so if I were you, I would really get creative with nap times, bed times, be intentional. And then that's one of those things that kind of doesn't sound like, oh, wow, that still kind of sounds kind of shitty. I'm tired then, or it's really hard. This too shall pass. This, at some point, they will be in school. Toddler boy, he will be in school, preschool. If there was any sort of like young, not childcare, like educational, like a preschool that he could, I don't know how old he is. I think I started putting Atson at 4, and that will give you lots of time. So plan an afternoon delight, meet for lunch, have a quickie. Just be more intentional about the time that you do have together to explore, to talk, to communicate, to connect, to have an erotic play date, etc. And you'll know when it's like a safe, appropriate, able time to be able to do all the other things you want to do together, and then to relish and hold on to the fact that you have so much to look forward to as a couple, right? If you're just trying to like cross it all off the list right now, y'all are going to get You've got time. And if it's good and it's great, like, love it, appreciate it, bask in it a little bit. Wait till you are. And if you quickly find yourself being unsatisfied, bored, or dulled, that could be a red flag. That could mean time for therapy. That's an indicator. So pump the brakes, slow down. Maybe this wasn't the answer you were looking for, but it sounds like you have a really awesome, fun, loving, passionate relationship, and you have so many different seasons and chapters ahead of you. and that you're both intentional about wanting this awesome sex life. Like, this is the wife writing, and usually it's the husband that's like ready to go and she had a baby and like she's not matching that energy. Sounds like you're like, y'all have it going. So I don't know if, and I say if because sometimes I felt like this from my past traumas of I need to be willing and I am excited and willing, but like I need to like make sure so my husband doesn't feel bored of me or wants to replace me or I won't be good enough or I'm boring to him and like he doesn't love me anymore. Like these intrusive, insecure wounds, bad lies that you can believe, lies. And so you behave in that way when really it's like, okay, that's not what's needed. I don't have to go do that. I love this. I enjoy this. I appreciate it. Nothing bad's going to happen. He's not going to leave me. He's not going to betray me. I don't know. I just felt like that was worth mentioning in case you felt some sort of pressure to get to those things because one person wanted it more than the other. And girly pop, if it's you wanting the other person in there more than him, I would say as your sister, like, chill for a second. Wait till he's in school. Wait till have more time to understand what could happen. And if you still want to go through with it, there will be a time and a place that will come organically, some trip at some point. I don't know if you ever visit your family. If you ever see them, I would hope once a year and you could get away for a night out and get a hotel, something. Don't try to fight for this night, if that's what I'm saying. I think figure out how you want to prioritize things, and then how you can fit each other in there and find balance and harmony and excitement, gratitude, appreciation for what is now. I said that in love. Sorry, that wasn't the answer you wanted. Okay, if you want to write into the show, go to thehornyhousewifepodcast.com, click Ask Anonymously. If you're listening and you don't hate it, if you could leave me 5 stars on Apple Podcast, Mommy would love and much appreciate that. And you can watch on YouTube and you can watch on Spotify. So I will have my social media, my website, which will get you to the Patreon, in the description. And you just saw it on the screen if you're watching. So do it. If you're listening to the podcast and you want to write in, go to thehornyhousewifepodcast.com and click Ask Anonymously. You can also find the link to my Patreon where I read sexy stories, great foreplay tool, or if you're just a smut lover, check it out. And if you like the show, you can leave me 5 stars on Apple Podcast. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following. Follow me on social media at THHpod, on TikTok at THH Podcast. There we go. And I will see you next Monday. Love ya.